Well, guys, another Tuesday is upon us. And with that being said, we learned something. Actually, we learned a lot of things this week. So stick around and check out this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speak Shop. Some might say the shop's looking a little empty. I'm not one of those guys because now I got all this room for activities, right? Well, the reason I say it's kind of usually there's a car in this region here, and instead of just letting the road glide, just stretch out a little bit. And well, if you look around, FXR, road glide, shovel. Guys, we got one less Harley in the shop, and I'm very happy about that because that wasn't my bike, right? So, who am I to be, just hold on to somebody else's motorcycle like for ransom or something, which is, guys, what it started feeling like. And Buddy knows that was not the case by any stretch of imagination. I was absolutely killing myself trying to get that bike figured out and get it back to him because we're in that time of year, guys. I mean, Christmas is right around the corner, and solid days to ride are few and far between. Let me take you over here right quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because today is, well, it's dark outside. Can you hear it? Not one of those days. So, luckily, he's had that bike back for a couple of days. And he went out. He said he was out for 5 hours. That's how much he missed it. Because I had that thing here for like almost a month. So, God, was it that long? I hope not. If it was, I apologize, buddy, because I probably should have, thrown in the towel, reached out for a helping hand a little sooner than I did. But, guys, sometimes, pride gets in the way and you think you can do it all. Let me start by saying it was not dark out when I got down here. So how long have I been down? Oh, man. If I knew the answer to that, I could solve all the world's problems. Because the truth is, guys, every time I come down here, I go a little bit over schedule. And I ain't mad about it at all. Speaking of over schedule, guys, the Dyna whipped my ass. And like I said, it's hard to kind of reach out, swallow your pride and ask for help. And it's a lesson I've learned time and time again. I remember, well, I'm sure I learned it as a kid. Like my old man probably told me a million times, what are you doing? Knock it off, right? But we never listened, right? I know I didn't anyways. But I remember the first time that I learned that lesson, and I actually listened because it was like, I saw it unfold in front of me, right? And it wasn't me that was the one screwing up. So, it's easier to watch other people screw up and see the problems than it is for yourself. So, I'll tell you a story. You ready?
Picture it. Sicily, 1912.
Picture it. San Diego, 1996, right? I'm like 19 years old, and we're leaving on deployment. And I'm learning how to do the 3M management, which is like the maintenance, the damage control maintenance, and all the stuff around the ship. Your fire bottles and ventilation and all that kind of stuff. And I had this guy. He was an E5, AD2 was the rate and rank. Navy stuff's a little different, but Caesar Cisnato. This guy, he could fix anything, right? And we were going to do something. We were doing some kind of maintenance on a piece of gear. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we found a discrepancy. I was like, okay, so now we got to fix it. He said, no, we got to report it, and then they'll send a guy to fix it. I said, oh, you can't. I thought you could do anything. You can't fix that. And he said, the secret to being good is knowing your limits. I said, huh. And this other guy came in. He had all the right tools and training and whatnot, knocked it out. And then we went on to our part of it, and we left and went, whatever. I got my qual, and that was 100 years ago, right? But I remember that. I remember Caesar looking at me and saying that. And, but for some reason, I couldn't think about that story when I was staring at the brakes on that Dyna. And when we got it figured out, right, I was down here, I was texting with Megan, just telling her, I said, yeah, we fixed the bike, and da-da-da. I said, yeah, Nick's better than me, is what I said. My text said, bike's fixed. I actually sold the wheels for the Tundra that day, too. Like, it all happened at the same time. The text was, actually, wheels are sold, bike is fixed, Nick is better than me. Megan wrote back, wow, that's a shocker. I was like, whoa, what are you talking about? I can fix some stuff, right? I've done some things. And she said, yeah, I know, I get it, but were you ever like a certified motorcycle mechanic? No, I was not. I could fix an F-18 like you read about, but no. In fact, guys, I mean, I'm kind of, not that I'm new at working on bikes, but like I was basic maintenance stuff. Like I don't know in-depth stuff. I never had a bike tore down to that. And usually when I work on the shovelhead and we need, Nick, here's a little foreshadowing. You're going to help me out again. Kevin would help me out, or Nick has helped me out when I was in California with it. We were stationed out there together. So, yeah, I reached out to them, but like I've learned a lot. I've gotten a lot of, I was talking with Oli the other day, and he was saying like, yeah, my skills, his skills, he feels better about working on projects that he's had, that he's kind of hoarded for a little while, because he knew his skills weren't there back then, but now he thinks they are. He's been, as we work, as we constantly grow, you don't even realize it, right? But you do. And I don't know. I guess back then I was younger, and I kind of was like, yeah, which is odd, because usually as you're younger, you're like, I got this, and you just jump in. But I was a little bit more hesitant, like, I don't really know this, and I was smart enough, I guess, and I've gotten dumber in my older age. I don't know how, and maybe, I guess that's possible. But now, I had no idea. The air pocket that was down there, which I knew was air. It was acting like air. I knew there was air in it. I mean, I'm a hydraulics guy by trade. I mean, on aircraft, but it's the same basics, right? So I knew there was air. I just didn't know where it was, nor did I know why it was there. Because it shouldn't have been. In my mechanical mind, it shouldn't have been. I didn't think about, something getting trapped in there, the way we put it together, which, like I said, now that we put it together wrong, but we put it back together, and we trapped some air in there. And it probably would have worked its way out, except for the way those clips were on there, and I guess it was just, the one piston was lower than the other, right? That was the problem. So the one piston was lower than the other, and it's sitting like this on an angle, right? So you got a piston here, piston here. I don't have enough hands for this demonstration, but you get it, right? And those clips were in there holding everything in that place. So if we didn't put the clips back in, probably would have come up. If we put them together and made sure they were at the right height or whatever, moving in conjunction with each other, probably would have been a problem. However, we did what we did, and well, hopefully you saw the video and you see what I'm talking about. I had no idea that those clips aren't really necessary. They were the first bike I saw them on, not the first Dyna or that era motorcycle I've worked on, so didn't really think anything about it. But like Nick said, he doesn't put them on his just because he doesn't feel it's needed. They're held in with a bolt, and it is what it is. Like I just said before, Buddy put 5 hours on that bike, probably more than that now, and absolutely loves it. It stops great. He even said the brakes were awesome. Thanks, and he really appreciates it. And we know you do, Buddy, and we're happy to help you out. Meaning, I say we. All I did was kind of mess it up. But hey, I know people. All right, so that helped. But so you guys saw I kind of went down a rabbit hole, right? I was hell bent that the bleeder was bad. So like I tried the syringe, right? That didn't work. Nick gave me his. By the way, Nick, I gotta get this back to you. I didn't realize you left it here. But his check valve system, which you guys saw, got a lot of air out, but you know, that would work as well. I went as far as buying some of these guys. I bought these and put it on the bike for a number of reasons. I had an O-ring that I put on it because the one I took off and the one in the video that I watched had an O-ring on it. Now Harley's since updated their stuff. That bike's 15 years old-ish. I'm not gonna do the math right now, guys. I don't want to take my shoes off, you know. But the bike's older, so they've changed their, you know, the one they have now, it's a little longer, and I guess it seats in there better. It doesn't have an O-ring, doesn't require it, obviously, because the bike's wonderful without it. But I saw something different, much like how I was like, I'm putting these clips back in because they were there. I was like, I need to put this O-ring back in, even though, guys, we found that one that, buddy went to Harley and got that bleeder. I was like, man, this don't look like the other one. He's like, you know what, you're right. Luckily, they're not that far away. He shot back up there and was like, yo, this don't match. And they were like, you know, I believe he had the other one with him. And they were like, you're right, it doesn't. They actually went in the back and the mechanics back there were like, nah, it's an upgrade, you're good. And I was so hell-bent on it, I'm like, man, maybe it was wrong. Maybe they're wrong about that. And obviously they weren't, so I apologize for doubting you guys, all right? But I was just so fixated on that. Oh, by the way, another reason I got these are self-bleeding ones. It's pretty good, guys. They call it the one-person brake bleeder. There's a check valve inside these guys. So much like Nick's setup. So there's a bunch of different ways to do the same thing. All of them work. Not that we did any of them wrong, but we were missing the key ingredient, the thing that was actually, we didn't fix what was wrong. And, you know, I started bleeding all over the place, and Nick did the same thing. So I was kind of glad to see that. When Nick got here, the first thing he did was bleed it at the bleeder valve, bleed it up on the master, bleed it down. So all the same things. I was on the right track. I don't know that I ever would have got to where he got to maneuvering everything to straighten those pads, the pistons out, so they were all the same, and going from there. I probably would never got to that. Maybe down the road. I don't know. But that's what you got. You know, that's why there's professionals out there. That's why you got friends, and that's not why you got friends. But I like helping out my friends, and most of my friends like helping me out as well. I think all of them do. Yeah. Not all of them can, right? Like, we all got different skill sets, and luckily, Nick's a good mechanic and a good friend. So, Nick, we appreciate you, like I said before. Old Wade was over here, and, you know, he's a good mechanic as well. Much like me, he just never dealt with that. I can tell you, down the road, we both bumped up our knowledge, and, well, if we ever have to deal with something like that again, we'll know, and so will you. So, thanks for watching, guys. Yo, and speaking of getting things back to people, buddy, I get that back to you. I'm just collecting people's stuff over here. What's the matter with me?